at Life Camp Inc.
And I am Tracy Queen, credible clinician at Life Camp Inc.
Greetings, Tracy.
Uh,
How are
I'm
you?
wonderful, darling. So good to see you. I wish I was there again with you.
I
I
know
had
we
so
had
much
so much
fun
fun
last week.
last week.
Yes, I
Yeah,
had a really
yeah.
good
Well, we'll
time.
be doing it again. We'll be doing it again. I put out my, took out the tea and my rose petals for you and the chocolate. That was a
Yeah.
lot of fun. Yeah, and Peace Week just ended, so I think we're both a little fatigued from Peace
Yeah,
Week.
me
So
too.
just
But
gonna,
it was
you
good.
know, take a
It was
breath, straighten up, and but it was good. Yes, Peace Week
mhm.
was very good this year. Shout out to Life Camp, to Erica Ford, to Jada
Yeah.
Aki, to the entire team that made Peace Week amazing this year, especially given that it was all virtual. So you could still go to peaceweeknyc.com if you want to learn more about it. Peace Week is all about taking personal responsibility to promote peace.
Yes,
Um, and it shouldn't really be a week, it should really be a lifetime. So we
absolutely.
especially nowadays, right? So we encourage people to do everything they can to promote peace. Yeah. So, and speaking of, you know, um, today we're talking about honoring your crown,
Yes.
right? Honoring your crown. And your crown is really that it's signified by the top of the head, like the molar. Remember when babies were born, that soft spot? It's where you put your tiara, it's where you put your fitted, it's where you put your kufi or your yarmulke, it's where you put your head wrap, right? It represents that part of the brain, if you were able to drill down, right? The pituitary gland, which is the master gland that regulates all of the hormones in your endocrine system. But it also taps into your spirituality or your ability to connect with your higher self, you
Yeah.
know?
And
So,
I like the way you said you talked about the tiara and the head wraps and the crowns. Yes. And when you put on that tiara,
yeah,
you're tapping
you
in.
yes, you sit different.
Yes.
There's a lot of things that we do that we don't even realize the cultural and spiritual significance of. We just do it because it's always been done. But and it's funny because I remember back in the day, you and I used to always wear crowns. I mean, gorgeous fabrics and all types of adornments. And the other day, I went into my closet and I was like, "Oh, I just want to put on a crown." And I didn't have anything. And I was like, where's all my fabric? Where's all my textiles? So shout out to all the textile makers, the people who take the time to put together patterns and materials to give us beautiful crowns. And I think I'm going to invest in some so I can start wearing them again.
Yes, me too. Because I feel it's like a feeling that comes over you when you adorn yourself with your crown. And I do miss
Yes,
it, you
yes.
know.
Yeah.
But
I
invest
was
in some.
watching something I posted on Instagram the other day. A brother, I forget his name, but he's from Eric Thomas's crew, Motivate University. And he was talking about how your name is your crown. Your name, when you're born, you inherit your last name, whether you like it or not, right? It's something that you inherit. So it's your legacy. And so you're treated oftentimes based on your last name. And if you think about what happens in the world and you think about last names, as soon as your brand is associated with your name. So if something happens to you personally, the brand can be impacted. And even look what's happening in the world in politics, last names, your crown can be tarnished and people can treat you a certain way just based on that legacy. So I think it's fitting to talk about the crown and just from a figurative perspective, how are you holding your crown? How are you tapped into your higher self? Because figuratively or spiritually, your crown represents your highest level of self. And the beautiful thing about being in tune with your crown, the most important part is that you're not impacted by the things that are going on around you. Somehow you're like divinely detached. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
all of a sudden, when you've really elevated to a higher frequency, when you really are tapped into your supreme intelligence or that ancestral wisdom, you're navigated differently, and you've lost that sense of ego, that sense of you versus me or separation. It doesn't mean you don't recognize people or the differences, but you recognize that we're all connected. So when people and situations come, you see yourself or you see an opportunity to have a lesson, a blessing, or an opportunity, and it takes away the fight. It takes away you spending your precious energy on something or someone that's really just bringing a situation that you either need to deal with, to learn from, or to be blessed by, you know?
I like the way you explained that, Queen. I love it
Oh, good,
because,
thanks.
and I must say, when I'm really tapped in when I'm fasting or eating really light. That's when I'm in the world, I feel more a sense of detachment. So,
Yes.
because I'm more in tuned.
Yes, yes. And so you're actually tapping in a little bit to what we'll be talking about when we go into alkaline, but I love it because you're absolutely on point. You know, the lighter you
Yes.
are, the more you can vibrate. Think about something that's weighing you down. Something is weighing you down, especially your thoughts. That's why they say, what's the matter? Because matter is anything that has weight and takes up space. So if you make thoughts matter, if you make things that people say and do matter, you give them weight and they take up space in your mind, and they weigh you down, and they zap your energy, and you vibrate on a low frequency, and you stay stuck in the lower self or the physical self that makes you want to fight or flee. But when you lighten up, when you get lighter on the inside, you begin to vibrate on a higher frequency, and you can actually rise to any occasion and be divinely attached, see the opportunity, but not have your peace disturbed, because wearing your crown is about really sitting firmly on your throne. So think about, for all of you at home who are watching right now, like, has there anything that has dulled your crown? Are you shining? Are you in a space where nothing and no one disturbs your peace, where you find blessings, lessons, and opportunities in everything, and you're really guided by the supreme wisdom of the ancestors or of the supreme source of all things? You know, just take a moment to see and even think about how you're sitting. Are you sitting like this? You know, or are you, take a breath up, exhale back,
Yes.
exhale down, sitting erect, recognizing that you are the royalty, you are the crown, your seat is the throne, you know? So when we
It's
talk about the
so powerful.
crown being blocked, that energy center being blocked, say it again, Queen.
I said the
Did you
seat
say
of
something,
power.
Tracy?
Yes, your seat
The
of
seat of
power.
power.
Yes,
Yes.
your seat of
Yes,
power.
yes. And when we talk about your crown being blocked, or your the signals in the brain being dulled, you know, that can manifest as depression, or feeling like just detached and disconnected from everyone and everything. It can also, on the other hand, make you very aggressive and agitated. So you can either be extremely inverted or extremely extroverted, but not from a place of balance. So if you
Right.
find that you're feeling irritable, you know, there's a lot of fighting, a lot of friction, it's usually because there's some imbalance there, because you're really trapped in the ego. And ego from the perspective of, it's me versus you, as opposed to, okay, here's a reflection coming to teach me or show me something that I need to deal with within myself. And sometimes the hardest thing to do is to see a reflection of ourselves in someone else, and even accept that there's something there for us that's unresolved. So, you know, the crown is, if we think about what's happening in the world, and we look at how people are living and how they are carrying themselves and the words they are speaking and how they're relating to one another. I mean, you know, I hate to talk about government and politics, but look at our administration, and so much fighting and separation, and you versus me, and red versus blue, and this versus that,
Lot
not
of ego.
recognizing that, you know, no matter what wing, is the same bird, it's the same house, you know what I mean? It's all connected in the same space. And so it's about moving forward to really support one people, and one humanity. So today we're talking about the crown. So a couple of things, I'm just gonna look in my notes. Yeah, greed, mental confusion, being agitated, being reactive to everything. And a lot of this is caused by stress. A lot of it is caused by stress. So a lot of us are dealing with a lot of pressure, especially now, as a matter of fact, since forever, but especially during the pandemic. Even sometimes when we're moving too fast, like a fast paced lifestyle can also create that imbalance in the crown because you're moving at a pace that's faster than you're able to vibrate or catch up with or align with. So you're constantly either behind or moving too far ahead, but you're not, in a space of balance. Anything else you want to offer, Queen,
Yeah.
that
So
contributes to?
yes, when you were speaking about the constant moving and everything, I thought about what came up for me was brain fog.
Mm,
Brain fog. And you
yes.
ever feel like, I'm speaking from experience, where you're constantly moving, a lot's going on, and it's like, wait, I can't, I'm not balanced. I can't think. Like you can't think. So you will sometimes have to literally, what I've done is literally say, okay, stop, and close my eyes and come. It's like I come outside of myself and look in and like, okay, let me create some stability here. Like what? Because when you're when you have brain fog, it's like you don't know whether you're coming or going. A lot's going on. Everything is a priority, and I think the days and times that we are living in now creates the brain fog, at least for me, because it's just a lot going on, and it's coming at
No,
you from
that's
different,
great.
you know.
Absolutely. That's perfect. And I agree with that. And
Mhm.
it's no accident that it's called brain fog because, again, we go back to the pituitary gland. And remember, that is also the gland that is responsible for secreting and producing or storing and producing oxytocin and dopamine. And those are your pleasure centers. So you can also be overstimulated. And when you're overstimulated, you're releasing so much of the hormone that after a while it's dull. That's why, have you ever noticed that you find like a favorite, like, well, before COVID, you had like a favorite spot to go eat, right? And you love that spot. That's your spot. You go there all the time. And then, one day you go and somehow it's not so special anymore. It's like,
The thrill is
it's not the
gone.
same. The thrill is gone. The same thing happens in relationships. You meet someone and it's like, oh my gosh, I found the love of my life. And you spend so much time because all your pleasure centers are activated. And so, because the pleasure centers are activated, you just have a desire to stay connected and keep it going. You talk on the phone all the time and you want to see them all the time. You want to be intimate all the time, but you're over releasing those pleasure hormones. And then eventually it's like, I don't want to talk to you.
I just
I
got,
don't
what
want to
Eddie
see
Murphy
you.
said, I just got
Right?
regular old crackers.
Regular old crackers, right? Right. You thought, these best crackers I ever had. Oh my God. Then it's like, I just got some regular old dry crackers.
Right.
Right. And so that's why it's important to have balance and to
Yes.
pace yourself. And so I want you to think about like whatever space you're in, are you looking to escape and because you don't want to really elevate, you feel dull, or you don't feel connected. So are you escaping through anything? It could be food, it could be alcohol, it could be television, video games. But are you finding that you're constantly veering towards something to escape and now it's not even rescuing you anymore? It doesn't do it for you anymore. And the reason why that's important is because that's what's also called a gateway, where when one thing isn't pleasurable enough, you begin to look for other sources and deeper sources. That's how people get into a lot of debt gambling, because
Yes.
gambling gives you that dopamine rush because it's like, oh, it's that
Yeah.
unexpected surprise.
Almost.
And then you're constantly trying to get that back. Yeah. So, or they call that chasing that high, and it's never going to be like that. So, it's important during this time that you pace yourself, that you slow yourself down, that you take some time to really just be still, and observe what's going on. Like really check in with yourself, go within and just do a body scan and just observe what's happening. What are you feeling? Where's the dullness? Is it here? Is it in your gut? You know? Is
Yeah.
it in your legs? Do you feel numbness? Sitting on Zooms all the time? Do you need to like get up and stretch?
Stretch. Right.
Do you need to like stretch your eyeballs? you know? Even Zooms, being on Zooms all the time, it's like, oh my God, not another Zoom, not another FaceTime.
Right.
So if there's anything that's going on in your life that you find that you're doing a lot of, and especially our children, make sure you find some variety. Make sure you take tech breaks. Make sure you do things that will give you more space in
Yeah, tech
between, because the
breaks.
more
I like that.
space,
Yes.
yeah,
We need more tech breaks and more space.
yeah, the
Absolutely.
more
The
space
balance.
you have in your
Mhm.
world, the more space you'll have in your mind, the more room for a frequency to vibrate, the more the electromagnetic frequencies begin to activate and you begin to come back to life.
Yes.
And so we always approach everything in three ways, because if you're feeling a little dull right now, if you're feeling a little detached, if you just feel like, you know what, every day feels like the absolute same. I just feel like it was just yesterday, and now yesterday is today, and tomorrow was last night. And you go, what day is it? Wait, what time is it? If you're in that space, you want to get out of that. You want to break that cycle. And if you find that nothing pleases you, nothing satisfies you, the people around you, you can't stand them, you just kind of want to escape, but you feel trapped, you feel stuck, or everything irritates you, and you just find that you're even observing that you're popping off at everything and you don't even like it, but there's nothing that you can or want to do about it, then we encourage you to do these three things. You want to get in alignment, you want to alkalize the body. You want to remind yourself of who you are. And so we say align, alkaline, remind. I'll say it again. Align, alkaline, remind. One more time. Align, alkaline, remind. You and me. Tracy Queen.
Align, alkaline, remind.
Let's get free. So the first thing we want to do is get in alignment. If you feel stuck, if you feel dull, Queen, why don't you share one way that people can get in alignment, especially when they want to shift and begin to activate their crown?
Reduce the clutter in your life. And that could be
That's a good one.
okay. Reduce the clutter, clean, and you could start with just cleaning your home. Some people might say, oh, my home is clean. I keep a clean house. Your car, your glove compartment, your pocketbook, your wallet. Start by reducing clutter.
I love that.
Clean, clean.
And
You
even look, the surfaces are clean, but this one drawer right here has all
right.
the
It's always that
stuff.
junk drawer. It's always that junk drawer. No, clean that
Yes.
out. When your outer environment represents what's going on internally. So if you look around your
Yes.
surroundings and it's crazy, it's a mess, that's what's going on internally. And you can kind of like be like, look at your surroundings, like, damn, I'm going through a lot. Just based
Yes.
on, the
Yes.
surroundings tell what you're going through. So yeah, start by cleaning up, clearing out that clutter. And then when you start cleaning, how many of us have found money? You get blessings.
Girl.
Once you start
Yes,
clearing
because
up
that's
that clutter,
energy. Yo, Queen,
yes,
you just said a word. I wish I had my bell, because it's so true. You find money because money is an energy. Money,
yes,
my own energy yield. And so
love
when you
it. Yes.
clean, you raise the frequency. When you raise the frequency, you yield toward yourself, right? Energy at a frequency that's going to allow you to yield back. So I love that. And I find, and most people do, when you actually start to do deep cleaning, you feel better. You're actually, it's a form of meditation. When you're cleaning and there's aromatherapy, you smell the lemon, you smell the pine, you smell the cinnamon, whatever you're using to clean with, that aromatherapy and the cleaning process, you find that you start getting lighter, and your thoughts, you start channeling thoughts and information and ideas. And I don't know about you, but sometimes when I'm cleaning, I then have to run and get a book and like, oh, let me write something down. And then I
Yes.
start like channeling stuff as I'm cleaning.
Yes, it starts just coming to you like downloads when you clean.
Yes.
Also, it's good to name your space, like name your house the Royal Palace.
Mm.
You spoke about names earlier. So if you start naming your space, like I call, and I learned this from Queen of Four, like the bedroom, the rejuvenation chamber.
Yes, the
You know what I'm saying?
rejuvenation
So,
chamber.
my husband, it's not in order. So
Yes.
we're like, no, it's rejuvenate. You want it when someone walks into your space, you want them to be lifted to their heights, right?
Yes.
Because it brings
Yes.
forth a feeling. And my daughter, I went in her room and she was like, don't come in yet. You know, the door is closed. And I went in and it was immaculate. I'm like, oh my, this is nice. She fixed things. It was like spotless. And she said, you know, mommy, she said, when I clean, I feel so calm.
And
What?
she's 12. Wait, and your
Like,
daughter's,
wow,
she's
12.
12.
You don't
Well, so
play
first of all, shout out to
with
Estrella Miranda.
yeah.
Because I've been to her room, and Estrella, if you're listening, Estrella means star, of course. She has these neon lights that she creatively put around the room. It's like a whole kit. Auntie bought it for her.
Yes, yes.
But well, I bought her an upgrade, right? But it's these neon lights that she can make different sizes and just kind of put around the room. And the colors also, like when I like peeked in, the colors just, it's so inviting and it's so vibrationally soothing. Yes. But of course she said she feels better because she's your daughter. I mean, just a testimony to how you're raising her. And so I do want to salute you, Queen, and all the mothers and fathers, because you'd be surprised, yes, at the little gems that you impart in your children, just honoring them for keeping their space clean, even if they don't have their own room. I never had my own room as a child. I shared my room with my two sisters. I hated sharing a bedroom. It is what it is. But I had to keep my bed clean. You know, just whatever your space is, when you keep it clean, it feels good. People used to say, why make up the bed? You're going to get back in it. But it feels good to come home to a made bed.
Yes. Even if,
you know, there's something vibrational about that. You come back to your room and the bed's not made. It just, I don't know. I feel like the day didn't happen or something is different for me.
Right.
So I absolutely love that. Yes. And as we're talking about cleaning your space, let's talk a little bit about some cleaning tools. You know, the white sudsy ammonia is actually really good for cleaning. Obviously, you don't want to strip your wood floors, but if you're dealing with, you know, tile or surfaces that can stand it, that ammonia, and you can add some aromatherapy oils. You could even add some cinnamon just to bring sweetness into the space. So you can clean it and then even put the cinnamon in some water and just kind of whisk the cinnamon or the brush around the broom around the house. You can put it on surfaces or even boil some water with the cinnamon. It'll bring sweetness into the home. Put some fresh lemons into your water, lemongrass around the house, you know, just to amplify the healing and the healing frequency and energy in the space. People talk about burning sage. If you burn sage in your house, it's really important to keep the windows open and all the cabinets where you're burning, because you want to remove all the negative energy. Sage is said to also repel rodents, because some people think of sage from a spiritual place in that it removes negative energy. Well, it repels low vibrational frequencies. And so animals who are crawling on the ground or who, you know, have a low vibrational frequency like rodents and pests, they can be repelled. Palo Santo is another beautiful incense that you can burn. It smells so good and it brings in good energy. Yeah. So, and that's PALOSANTO. And it's just wood resin. Again, we were taught, you know, the belief system also causes a lot of stress, which can make you feel disconnected, because we were taught not to, you know, accept natural rituals and herbs and foods and things that our ancestors did to maintain wholeness, you know. And because of that, sometimes our belief system is so wired, we can't even receive something that's good for us. So I challenge you, or I encourage you, if you're triggered by anything we're saying, or you find yourself rolling your eyes in your mind's eye when we're talking about things like sage or, you know, incense.
Wiping your walls.
Wiping your walls. Ask yourself why. When I was a little girl, my mother woke us up every Saturday at 6 a.m. and we had to wash the walls, polish all the furniture. And I couldn't understand. I was like, why are we wiping the walls? But then we didn't need a paint job for a long time. And the house was always like clean, clean. You know, there was a certain smell, and I actually really enjoyed it. So shout out to Ruthie Mae Kears. I appreciate you. Yes, and sending you love for a speedy recovery. But yeah, cleaning. The other thing you can do to shift and elevate your crown is learn something new. When you feel dull, it's because you're in that same cycle of habit. The moment you read something or just, stimulate your brain with something new, not a video game, not technology. I mean, an analog experience, like listen to a new sound, or read a book, or, watch a documentary or something that's going to shift your consciousness, and you'll find that your brain comes to life. When you teach somebody something, they go, oh, they even make a sound that's vibration. I'm like, oh, you notice that?
Yes,
It's like you can't help it.
Right.
You have a direct vibrational reaction to learning something new, which lets you know that's science. It's happening. Your brain is stimulated and it's activated. So you also want to look at who's in your circle. Are the people in your circle talking about the same things to the point where you're like, oh, I don't want to be around you.
Yes.
That's clutter. It's emotional clutter. To the point where the thought of being around them is like, oh, let me get, you ever said, I got to get my energy up just to be around this person. So that's also the science of it, right? Because they're not going to give you any type of mental food. Right. So clearing the space and learning something new is really important. And let's talk about alkaline. Let's talk about what we can put in our bodies as well to stimulate our minds, to really activate our crown, to vibrate on a higher frequency. And so I put together some tea. So you hit it, Queen, when you said fasting is really important. And sometimes people don't want to fast. Fasting for some people means, oh my gosh, I'm going to suffer. But it could be as simple as eating lighter. It could be as simple as, not eating that heavy food or your go-to food that you escape with, whether it's your steak, your wine, your chocolate, or your ice cream, or your pasta. Take a moment to eat a little lighter, because the food weighs you down and emotions, energy gets stuck in the gut. And so when those centers are blocked, you actually can't vibrate. You can't go to a higher frequency because you're stuck and the food has weighed you down. So all this week and last week, we started drinking a lot of herbal teas, because herbal teas also clean the blood. They stimulate the nervous system. They activate. I don't know if you can see my this tea that I prepared, but I prepared a couple of different teas. Yeah, thank you, Jada.
Yes.
How pretty that is, right? So I've got some chamomile tea here. Chamomile is really good for it's good for the nerves. It calms the nerves and the nervous system. But I want you to see how pretty that is, right? When I like loose tea, and I cannot lie, because when you buy the loose tea, you could really see the flowers and the herbs. It just changes your experience. And so chamomile, people know chamomile for being relaxing. You want to relax the nervous system so that you can have clarity. When you're stressed, when you're moving fast, the brain is actually sending stress hormones into the blood. So when you can relax the nervous system, then the brain can also get oxygen and even send, activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which sends serotonin and feel good hormones to the blood. And when you relax, you can think. So chamomile is really good. The other one I have is lavender.
Lavender.
Isn't that pretty? Look how
pretty. That is so pretty.
How pretty that is. It's pure lavender. Yeah. I had some lavender tea. Interestingly enough, it's a little strong. I know when I did my live last week, I did 2 teaspoons, and someone texted like, "Oh, that's a lot of product." And she was absolutely right. I was just so excited because it was purple, and it's been a while since I had some, but you only need a teaspoon. And lavender is also very calming to the nervous system, very relaxing, very soothing. You can even as I have this tea here, it's so fragrant. Well, first of all, the chamomile is also fragrant. Like you know, if you know chamomile tea, but this is a fragrance that's a joy. This is a fragrance that, like, you could put this also in a sachet, in under your pillow, or put it in a, you know, in a sachet and put it over your eyes to relax, you know. But it
And
smells so
also,
good.
believe it or not, Queen, is so beautiful, relaxes. Oh, it's also an antiseptic. And I didn't even like realize.
Really? Now that I did
That's
not
a
know.
bonus. I was like, okay, that's a bonus.
That I did not know. It's an antiseptic.
Yeah.
So what, so how would you, what, so how would that impact the body? When I think of antiseptics, I think about mouthwash.
Well, mouthwash, or if you have really dry scalp, you can take the tea and
Mm.
steep it and put it in a spray bottle,
Well,
right?
you know what? That makes sense because shout out to Siobhan Miley, the sister who braids my hair, and she's always like, "Kat, why are you always putting your hair up? You never wear it down. You want to see it." But she always steeps lavender, and when she's washing my hair and she rinses it, she pours lavender on my scalp and then
Your hair
massages
smells
it.
good.
Yeah, yeah. So that makes sense. And I actually, well, you know, because you're around me all the time, I put lavender essential oil in my hair. I put a little bit in coconut oil so it has a carrier, and then I massage my scalp and I put it on my braids,
Yes.
and it smells so good. And when it settles, people always say, "Your hair smells so good." So yeah, shout out to Siobhan. I didn't know that. That
Yes.
explains it. I knew lavender was good for the scalp, but I didn't know why, you know?
Yes. So that's a good thing. We like lavender.
Yes. Okay, so I'm gonna drink one of these teas, but I want to show you this one. And this one we might have to drink later when the show's off. So this is called the Blue Lotus. Even
Ooh.
though it looks purple, okay, y'all, it kind of has a bluish purple. So this is resonant also with the first eye chakra. And I had some of this the week before last. I just didn't post it, but I think I'll post it tonight. So
Nice.
I'm laughing and smiling because it's an inside joke. This right here, this is for the grown-ups only.
That's a
Please do
grown
not
up.
give this to your children.
No.
Blue Lotus is considered, well, how do we want to call this, Queen?
It's a lot of different things. It promotes
It
euphoria.
promotes euphoria. It's an aphrodisiac.
Aphrodisiac,
Yeah.
is known to treat erectile dysfunction.
Which is interesting, but I can understand that because if it's an aphrodisiac and it gives you euphoria, it's also allowing the blood to flow. When you're not stressed, the blood flows, and we know that, you know, erection is comes from, you know, just when you're engorged with blood, right? So I guess I see that, but yeah, this is a pleasure tea.
Yes.
So this is something that you don't want to have when you're driving. You want to
No,
wait until you're
absolutely not.
home and you don't have anything to do. You don't have any Zooms to get on. Um, I tried this last week and I steeped it for about 20 minutes, and the scent was so inviting. Like,
Mhm.
you can't smell it now, but when I put it in the water, it's just smelled so good. The interesting thing is when I drank it, it didn't taste as good as it smelled. And I would imagine that's because maybe it's designed to draw you in so you will drink it and get those medicinal effects. I think I meant to top line this alkaline segment by saying plant medicine, right? So Tracy Queen, you talked about cleaning your space to do something alkaline to bring more space into your life and into your mind, clear the clutter. And for the
Right.
alkaline, what we're saying is use plants as medicine. And so we talked about chamomile, which is designed to relax the nervous system. We talked about lavender, which is calming and an antiseptic. And now we're taking it a little step further, right? To take you to another state of euphoria. And so when we talk about euphoria, which is a very proper and grown up word, which I love, um, people will utilize plants for different things. Some people tap in and waste the euphoria on more physical pleasure. Some people tap in and use plant medicine and the euphoria to be creative, to tap into ideas, to download new information, to read and study something and get new insights that they didn't get when they were just at a certain plane. Now, you can obviously achieve this through meditation. You can take yourself to higher levels within yourself with meditation, but we're just saying that this plant also is considered, it's definitely, it's not in abundance in the stores. You have to go to certain herbal stores to find it, and it's usually behind the counter. So that should say a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have a cup tonight after the show, and you know what I mean? Because why not, right? I deserve a little euphoria. It's been a long week, y'all. Come on.
Yes.
I just been traveling, and my body, I haven't had a lot of sleep, so I can use a little euphoria tonight. And of course, I wanted to get into the tea that I'm actually going to consume on this segment, and this is holy basil. So holy basil, and this is a basil leaf. Now, not to confuse the two, when people think of holy basil, they think of basil. They're cousins. They're in the same family because they come from the same medicinal strain. But this basil is used for cooking. And it's good for you. It's a green and it has some medicinal properties. But holy basil, the holy basil, you can get as a tincture. If you've seen other Wellness Wednesdays, we've used holy basil tinctures. At the onset of COVID, we were getting our holy basil on. But this right here is, what do they call it? The mother of herbal medicine? It's the proper term, Queen.
Mother medicine of nature.
Yes, the mother medicine. So I'm going to get my teacup ready and my water, Queen. Why don't you talk a little bit about the healing properties of holy basil?
Oh my God, where do I start? It's the mother. It's the mother.
Jada, can you fix me? I'm standing up now. Thank you, my darling. I'm sorry, Queen. Go ahead.
Antibacterial, antifungal. It has vitamin C, and it's also has chlorophyll. We know that.
What? Wait. You can't even tell from the herb, right?
Yes. Yes.
But that's very dope because we know that chlorophyll. I mean, chlorophyll is our thing, right? What? We are chlorophyllians. Yes. So check it out. The fact that you said it's antibacterial, antimicrobial,
yes,
antifungal, antiviral. Well, gee, those are all the attributes that you need for COVID prevention,
yes,
for immune building,
yes,
right? So whoever wants to chime in, I'm actually going to put 2 teaspoons because I want all the wellness. And so I am going to make this strong because this is my medicine. And, I got my, let me smell it. So it doesn't have the same, basil. Y'all can smell basil in your mind. You know how green that is. It's so pretty, right? This is just, I just want to bite it
over here
in your mind's eye, right? Mm-hmm. And this basil, the herbal tea, it has a scent as well. It's not as strong as the basil plant, but this is holy basil. In parts of the world, they consider this like sacred, like the mother of all medicinal plants, just for all the elements
as well. Did I mention that it's an adaptogen?
No. Yes. So you're talking about stress reduction also. Yes. Explain to people what an adaptogen is. It helps
the body adapt to stress.
Yes. Yes. Now I want y'all to this fragrance comes to.
I have some too. I have some with me.
You do? Yeah. Yay, we get to drink again together. Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. Cheers.
Cheers, Charlie.
Yes. Queen, wait a minute. Wait. It smells so good. I want y'all to know I did not steep this long, but I just need you to see that already. Look at all the deep color that came in, right? It almost looks like coffee. You see that? It almost looks like coffee. It's so dark, which says that it's got a lot going on. They also say that your first child is usually your most melanated child. If you think about history and legacy, the first child is usually the darkest skinned, right? The deepest melanated, because you've got that concentration right? I'm just saying that because
But
that's what just came to my, huh?
no, I have something funny to say about
No,
that.
say it.
With myself and my two siblings. So, my sister, my younger sister, she's really light. So, I remember one day asking my dad, may he rest in peace. I was like, why is Tifa so light? He was like, me and your mom was a little older when we had Tifa. So,
Like you ran out of juice, right? But no, when you think about it, like no matter who you are, no matter where you come from, that first child is like that first concentration of melanin, And I don't know why that just came to mind, but looking at this holy basil, and I guess because I literally haven't even had it steeping and it's so strong. So
right.
I'm gonna go ahead and enjoy it, even though I've got enough in this steeper that I can make another cup because it's so potent, right? And of course, I'm going to add to my antiviral, antimicrobial, antibacterial by
Yeah.
having a little manuka honey. Let me tell you, this honey is so good. I don't even need a whole lot. I don't want to use a whole
You gotta
lot
get
because
stock in
it's
the
pricey.
You gotta get
I
stock.
really do. I need to call these people. I
Yes,
need to go to New
definitely.
Zealand and get some manuka
Okay.
trees. I really do, because if I had $1 for every person that bought Manuka honey because I said something about it,
Definitely.
this is what happens when we love our people and we just want to share the knowledge and we're not thinking about monetizing it. But holla at me, Manuka honey people. Of any brand, we should talk about making some teas together. That would be kind of dope, making some tea kits. But yeah, this holy basil, it smells really good. I'm gonna sit down and have my tea. My body is a little fatigued because I haven't been getting a
Oh
lot
my
of
God, you've been all
sleep.
over the place, been around the world.
And I ain't got
Yeah.
no sleep. And so I'm not a member of the Don't Sleep Club. I do believe that we should get our
Right.
rest. I believe the last chakra we
Absolutely.
talked about getting sleep and the importance. But then sometimes, life happens and you can't. So when you can't get enough of the physical rest that allows your body to rejuvenate and re-oxygenate, it's important to put life in the body, right?
Absolutely.
And so, and eat light, because like you said, Queen, the lighter you eat, the more the body can repair itself. It doesn't have to do so much work. Like think about how much work it takes to process a heavy meal or some pasta, or like a burger or some chicken. Like your body's like, word, really? I'm
Yes.
sleepy and I don't have no energy, and this is what you want to do to me. And I gotta work extra hard, and you already don't have a lot going. You know what I'm saying? Then I gotta get up and wake you up and take you to work. Like, word,
Yes.
that's how you gonna do me?
Right.
You know,
I remember Queen of Food, when we used to go, when we got to the gateway of sacred food, I remember her having a potato in her hand. And she was like, you feel how heavy that is? I think it was a potato or yuca. She was like, you feel that how heavy that is? She was like, when you eat it, all that heaviness just goes right in your body and just sit
yes.
there. Yes. It takes
Yes.
forever to.
Yes. And because you feel physical weight, your mind goes to that feeling. And wherever the mind goes, the energy flows. And so now your energy is taken down. So scientifically, see what I mean?
And
So
that's
I'm
why you
going to
go to
have a
sleep.
taste.
That's why you go to sleep.
That's why you go to sleep, because you go all the way down. So in the words of who says I'm all the way up, is that Fat Joe? Shout out to Jopra. I really appreciate you, brother, because
Oh
you've
yes,
really
shout out.
shown up in so many ways,
Yeah.
especially with Life Camp and Erica Ford. I just appreciate that no matter how much you've risen, in your career, you stay grounded. And, I'm sure there are many celebrities that do, and forgive me if I didn't shout you out this particular time. I just happen to be aware of what Fat Joe, aka Jopra, has been doing, formerly known as Joey Crack. And we really we acknowledge you, King, and we see your crown.
Yes.
We see you honoring the legacy of your name by doing good and giving to the people, so we can rise higher. So salute to you, Joe. And I'm gonna taste this holy basil. Oh, it smells. So I really pray that it tastes as good as it smells. Let me taste it. Oh, oh, I like.
Yeah. No.
Oh, I like it.
I'm into
Mm.
it.
Yeah, my water's a little hot, so I gotta sip it slow. But oh, I like this. You know how something is good and if the water's hot, so you want to get to it and you find yourself like nursing the space over the cup until
Yeah.
you can get in there. So while I'm trying to figure this out, Queen, how about you give us a good word?
Okay, the word for the day is look, pertaining to detachment, because we were talking about detachment.
Divine detachment. Okay.
Divine detachment, and this is by Deepak Chopra.
Deepak. Shout out to our good
Right?
friend
Yes,
Deepak.
yes, he's our friend. The law of detachment says in order to acquire anything in the physical universe, you have to relinquish your attachment to it. Now, this doesn't, for clarity, this doesn't mean you give up the intention to create your desire. You don't give up the intention and you don't give up the desire. You give up the attachment to the result.
Mmm.
So,
Oh, that's
like
good.
just put
That's
it
good.
out
Would you read
there.
that one more time, Queen?
Okay,
Just
boom.
read it one more time.
The law of detachment says that in order to acquire anything in the physical universe, you have to relinquish your attachment to it. This doesn't mean you give up the intention to create your desire. You don't give up the intention and you don't give up the desire. You give up your attachment to the result.
I love that. The
Yes.
first thing that came to wait, you tell me what came up for you, and then I'll tell you what came up for me.
Like for me, it's like once you put something out in the universe, your intention, you, like know that it's gonna be taken care of. Detach yourself. Know that it's gonna be taken care of. Don't start thinking about, well, how's it gonna happen? Da, da, da. Once you put it out, the universe will like feed you. You'll get fed.
Yes, I love that. And it also speaks to faith. It's
Mhm.
like
Having faith. Yes, yes.
when you
Trust
trust
the
that
universe.
supreme power, force,
Gotta-
life in you, that infinite source, and
Yes.
you ask for something,
Hmm.
and then you keep asking. You ever had somebody ask you for something and then they keep asking and you get mad because it's like, I told you I was gonna do it. Could you stop asking me?
Right.
Right?
Right.
So I love that. And it made
Receive.
me say it again, asking you shall receive. Yeah, and then pour gratitude on it. Like, I'm so grateful that I know it's happening. It's not a matter of when, it's just a matter of knowing that it is. And I'm going to continue to surrender my will and do the work. And it made me also think of something funny. It makes me think of relationships and dating, right? When you are so attached to the notion of finding a partner, finding a love, right? You've already put it in the desire in your mind's eye and in your spiritual heart. I want to attract love, companionship, and you're so busy looking. You ever notice that usually when you're not looking is when you attract someone? Everyone who has an amazing love story will say, I just happened to be in this place and this person was there. I wasn't even looking. And so that's an example
Yes,
of
that's
divine detachment,
it's so true. I remember, growing
right?
up when we used to go out, and some of my friends, well, no, I can give a better example. Becoming a mom.
Mm.
Once, I got to a certain age, some of my friends that weren't moms, like they were so attached to it. Like they
Mm.
were so attached, like, they want to be a mother. Da, da, da. Like I was never like, oh my God, like my clock is ticking, it's not gonna happen. Never. I was always detached. And I have Estrella, but
Yes.
I was never that person. Never.
Yes. You had the intention, but you weren't attached to the outcome.
I wasn't attached to the outcome.
Yeah.
I was always
Yeah.
like, okay, I know, I'm gonna have a mini me. And if it doesn't happen, that means it just wasn't in the cards. But I was never, I was very detached to
Yeah.
the situation.
And you got a beautiful daughter. She's absolutely beautiful. Shout out to Estrella Miranda. She is truly a star. Um, I think in closing, we can also liken that to what's going on in the world for a lot of the folks that are listening. People who are in a space of stress, in a space of feeling lack consciousness, and set your intention for what you want. Set your intention for what you believe that you need, and then see it in your mind's eye. Smell it, taste it, feel it, touch it, hear it, and then let go. Then walk knowing that it's happening. So, for example, if you wanted new furniture, you would start cleaning and removing clutter and making space for it to come, right? If you knew it was coming, if you really knew it was coming. If you want something and you really trust that it's happening, you start making the way for it. So, what you can also do is live as if it's coming, live as if it's manifesting, and carry yourself in the knowing that it is to be. And just by doing that, you prepare the space and you begin to send up these signals and energy. And then your consciousness is like, oh, we got a car because you already got the glove and the driving shoe. And oh, let me catch up to you and manifest this upon me. I think I need to do that. I need to manifest me a range. Shout out to my girl, Rachel Nordlinger, by the way, who just became partner, the first Black female partner in her firm at Mercury PR.
Excellent.
Talk about wearing her crown. Talk about sitting on her throne. Talk about doing the work and being divinely detached from the outcome and just manifesting. And that's what it's about. So I am inspired by our sister. You know, she's always been in the trenches. She's always been behind the scenes, giving life and giving a voice to our community, civil rights issues, social justice issues. And yes, my good friend, our good friend, Rachel Nordlinger is the first Black female partner, okay? Not vice president, not president, not executive, partner at Mercury PR, which is one of the biggest PR firms in the country. And I want to salute you, Queen, and pray that you stay on your throne and continue to live into your crown. I am so honored to know you, and thank you for the inspiration. And so this was good, Queen. You know, I feel a little more energized, even celebrating our friends and loved ones. This tea is kicking in, this holy basil. Maybe I'll hold off on this other tea another day because I'm already I'm already a little loopy from fatigue. So you know what I mean? I want to make sure I'm balanced. But this whole holy basil is really good. And
holy basil is good. I love
when you're tired, building your immune system also gives you what you need to get proper rest. Because there's nothing like having a fatigue and then you can't fall asleep, but your body is tired. So this is delicious. I encourage everyone, get some holy basil, not basil that you put in your pasta and tomato sauces, but holy basil, the mother of medicinal herbs, especially in COVID prevention. The surge is still on, and we want to make sure we keep our immune system strong, not only with foods that contain life, but also with your antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal, microbial tonics and teas. So thank you all, everyone. I pray that you learned something and you were inspired. Take such good care of yourself. Take the time to give yourself space, honor your crown, and happy Wellness Wednesday. Clear the clutter and learn something new. Thank you, Queen.
And
happy.
Get that money.
Get the money. Look, you know what? How about you close out the show? Because you say get the money, clear the clutter, learn something new.
Yes.
What else? Fast, eat lighter, clear the space.
Yes.
Anything else, Queen?
And stay detached.
Stay detached.
No, I won't say that. I'll save that for
and stay sucker free. I knew you were going to say that. Thank you, Queen. I appreciate you. Happy Wellness Wednesday.
Happy Wellness Wednesday.